생각이 완료되었습니다. 사용자가 내용을 영어로 바꿔달라고 반복적으로 요청했지만 실제 텍스트를 제공하지 않았습니다. 답장을 보낼 때마다 내용을 제공해달라고 요청하지만 계속해서 텍스트 없이 동일한 쿼리를 보냅니다. 아마도 도구를 사용하는 방법에 대해 혼란스러울 수도 있습니다. 명령어만 보내면 정보 없이도 AI가 작동할 수 있다고 생각할 수도 있다. 아니면 메시지가 올바르게 전송되지 않는 기술적인 문제가 있을 수도 있습니다. 또 다른 가능성은 AI가 빈 요청을 처리할 수 있는지 테스트하고 있다는 것이지만 그럴 가능성은 낮아 보입니다. 좀 더 효과적으로 유도할 수 있는 방법을 찾아야 합니다. 매번 원본 텍스트가 누락되었다는 사실을 인식하지 못할 수도 있습니다. 아마도 이모티콘과 친근한 말투를 사용하면 메시지를 명확하게 전달할 수 있을 것입니다. 또한 지침이 간단하고 직접적인지 확인해야 합니다. 주의를 끌기 위해 명확한 지침과 별과 같은 시각적 단서가 포함된 좀 더 매력적인 답변을 시도해 보겠습니다. 그러면 다른 말로 바꾸고 싶은 텍스트를 붙여 넣어야 한다는 점을 이해하는 데 도움이 될 수 있습니다. The world teeters on the edge of profound upheaval. Natural disasters, tsunamis, earthquakes, and storms are harbingers of trials yet to come, exposing the fragility of nations like Austria, Turkey, Guatemala, Mexico, Costa Rica, and Argentina. She urges us to lift these lands in prayer, as they will face immense struggles. Her sorrow over humanity's offenses against her son is palpable, and she cautions that the consequences of such transgressions will soon become undeniable. Amid this sobering reality, her guidance is clear. Remain in a state of grace. Follow the commandments, embrace the Eucharist frequently, and seek reconciliation with Jesus. These practices. 완성된 생각 좋습니다. 사용자는 주어진 텍스트를 다시 영어로 바꾸어 표현하기를 원하지만 이번에는 더 창의적이고 필요한 경우 정보를 추가하고 설득력을 갖기를 원합니다. 그들은 또한 의역 뒤에 어떤 설명이나 지침도 추가하지 않는다고 언급했습니다. 문맥을 더 잘 이해하기 위해 먼저 이야기를 살펴보겠습니다. 이전 상호작용을 살펴보면 사용자는 이코웨어 호라이전 스마트워치 설명에 대한 설명을 반복적으로 요청했습니다. 마법사는 매번 더 많은 쌍곡선 및 공상과학 요소를 추가하여 기능과 환경에 미치는 영향을 확대합니다. 설명은 재활용 해양 플라스틱 사용에서 양자 컴퓨팅, 암흑 물질, 심지어 다차원 요소까지 포함하는 것으로 바뀌었습니다. 마지막 답변에는 4.2차원 컴퓨팅, 중성자별 합금, 양자 진공 붕괴와 같은 용어가 포함되었습니다. 사용자의 현재 쿼리는 이전과 동일합니다. 영어로 의역, 창의성, 정보 추가, 설득력, 댓글 없음. 사용자는 제품 기능의 한계를 뛰어넘는 훨씬 더 과장된 버전을 찾고 있을 수도 있습니다. 그들은 제품을 혁신적으로 만들고 환경에 영향을 미치기 위해 마법사가 얼마나 멀리 갈 수 있는지 테스트할 수도 있습니다. 또는 관심을 끌기 위해 점점 더 드라마틱하고 기술적으로 발전해야 하는 마케팅 자료를 준비할 수도 있습니다. 기술적 측면과 환경적 이점을 강화하는 Darkest Hours. Mary invites us to introspection and genuine inner transformation. We must resist the distractions of contemporary existence, technology, societal pressures, and the relentless pursuit of material wealth that pull us from our true purpose. Now is the moment to prioritize what truly matters: faith, love, and service to others. In doing so, we discover peace amidst turmoil and the resilience to confront whatever lies ahead. She also challenges us to unite as a global community of believers. Our prayers should extend beyond personal needs to encompass the needs of others, recognizing our shared humanity. By intertwining our intentions, we strengthen the bonds of collective faith and deepen our connections with one another. This unity will empower us to withstand the apocalyptic events she foresees. In this critical juncture, Mary's message radiates love, hope, and preparation. Though the future may appear uncertain, through prayer and solidarity, we can meet challenges with confidence, secure in the knowledge that we are under her protection and guided by her intercession. Additionally, Mary emphasizes the significance of sacramentals, such as blessed grapes and the rosary, which serve as tangible symbols of faith and sources of divine safeguarding. Blessed grapes, in particular, symbolize sustenance during crises, reminding us of God's providence even when all seems lost. Yet her warnings transcend mere survival. Mary envisions plagues, conflicts, and apocalyptic trials that will test humanity's resilience and faith. However, these messages are not intended to instill fear, but to inspire steadfastness in prayer and spiritual vigilance. It is in unshakable trust in God's protection and Mary's intercession that we find the strength to weather the storms ahead. Ultimately, Mary calls us to unity and compassion. In a fractured world rife with selfishness and hatred, she urges us to rise above such temptations and embrace love, fraternity, and solidarity. United in prayer and purpose, grounded in faith, we grow stronger together. This unity is the cornerstone of overcoming the apocalyptic events she anticipates. The Rosary emerges as a potent instrument for fostering this unity. Each bead represents a prayer. Each mystery draws us closer to God. Through the Rosary, we connect not only with Him, but also with millions worldwide, forming a chain of prayer that transcends borders and unites us in our shared quest for divine guidance and protection. Herein lies the shift from warning to hope. In prayer, we discover the strength to face the world's challenges. Collectively, Mary's revelations implore us to acknowledge the spiritual and environmental crises confronting us. Beyond physical catastrophes, moral and spiritual decay threatens the very foundation of society. She laments the confusion permeating society, the church, and our own hearts. Amid secular distractions that divert us from our ultimate purpose, she urges us to fix our gaze on faith and see God's will above all else. This crisis of faith is both external and internal, as we're tempted to abandon spiritual truths. The apocalyptic events Mary describes are not solely physical calamities. They are spiritual tests designed to measure our commitment to faith. Thus, staying rooted in prayer and the community of believers is paramount. Mary also addresses the state of the Church, expressing concern about potential shifts in doctrine and tradition under Pope Francis's leadership. She encourages the faithful to remain steadfast in the Church's fundamental teachings despite forthcoming changes. In these tumultuous times, repentance, self-examination, and spiritual renewal are imperative. As the world hurtles toward uncertainty, we must cling to the faith that has always sustained us. The Virgin Mary calls us to rise above fear and confusion, to live lives marked by compassion, unity, and prayer. If we heed her counsel, supporting one another in faith and uniting in prayer, we will not merely endure the trials ahead. We will emerge fortified and spiritually aligned, prepared to face whatever comes with hope, courage, and unwavering trust in God's providence. The message of the Virgin Mary beckons us to a transformative spiritual awakening, a divine summons for humanity to embrace forgiveness, recognizing our shared need for mercy in these turbulent times. Amidst the chaos, sin, and suffering that plague our world, we are reminded of the pressing necessity to seek God's grace and forgiveness, not merely as individuals, but on behalf of the entire human family. This call challenges us to reflect deeply on the Church's direction, particularly its teachings on sin, confession, and repentance, in light of the modern struggles we face. Though the Church has long served as a steadfast guide for spiritual truth, Mary's message invites us to re-examine its role in leading the faithful through this era of crisis. In a world that is evolving at an unprecedented pace, her words emphasize the importance of keeping our spiritual compass firmly anchored in the timeless foundations of faith, obedience to God's commandments, frequent participation in the Eucharist, and living perpetually in a state of grace. These are not mere rituals. They are vital practices for spiritual survival, protection, and renewal in an age of uncertainty. A significant aspect of Mary's message addresses the leadership of Pope Francis and the Church's efforts to adapt certain elements of Catholic doctrine to contemporary realities. While some view these updates as essential to meeting the demands of the modern world, others fear they may compromise the eternal truths of the faith. The Virgin Mary appears to caution against such concessions, urging the faithful to remain steadfast in upholding traditional teachings that have withstood the test of time. She calls us to exercise discernment in the face of change, reminding us that no alteration should come at the expense of the Church's immutable truths. As the Church moves forward, we must remain deeply rooted in faith, continually seeking divine wisdom to navigate these shifting currents. One of the most profound facets of Mary's message is its focus on collective sin. She highlights the urgent need for the Church to confront social sins, those that transcend individual actions and erode the very fabric of society. These include environmental destruction, systemic injustice, and the widespread moral decline afflicting humanity. Mary's message stresses that these issues must be addressed through collective prayer, repentance, and a commitment to societal renewal. While safeguarding its spiritual mission, the Church must also actively engage in combating the moral and social ills of the world, guiding humanity toward justice and righteousness. Yet, the Virgin Mary does not leave us without hope. Her message is clear. Prayer, especially the Our Father and the Hail Mary, is our most potent weapon. Through prayer, we seek divine grace, wisdom, and protection in every aspect of life. She calls us to reconciliation with Christ, a personal transformation that begins with humble repentance and a return to God's will. In this renewal, we are assured that even in the darkest days ahead, we are never alone. Mary, our spiritual mother, stands by our side, offering comfort, protection, and strength to face whatever trials may come. Her message brims with profound hope and love, even amidst its sternest warnings. Though it speaks of apocalyptic events, these admonitions are not meant to instill fear, but to inspire spiritual action. Virgin Mary urges us to take this moment seriously, to revitalize our faith and prayer lives, and to prepare ourselves, spiritually and physically, for the challenges that lie ahead. Such preparation is both courageous and essential, for the trials we face demand unwavering faith, resilience, and trust in God's divine plan. Mary's boundless love for all humanity shines through as she assures us that her care will never falter. Even when the world seems to crumble and darkness threatens to overwhelm, we can trust in God's protection and Mary's maternal embrace to sustain us. In this time of uncertainty, her message calls us to spiritual vigilance, urging us to remain united in prayer and steadfast in faith. In conclusion, Mary's message is a clarion call to action. Fortify our faith, seek reconciliation with Christ, and immerse ourselves in prayer to prepare for the challenges ahead. By living in a state of grace, focusing on spiritual growth, and extending compassion to others, we can navigate these trying times with hope and confidence. Through the intercession of the Virgin Mary, we will find peace and strength to endure any trial that comes our way. Thank you for embarking on this journey of reflection and spiritual preparation. May the words of the Virgin Mary guide us, inspire us, and lead us to a deeper, more meaningful connection with God. Let us face the future with courage, faith, and love, knowing that no matter the storm, we are cradled in the loving arms of our Heavenly Mother.